I was working in the AFL with St Kilda Football Club, and it started to be used by some of the clubs. I think Hawthorn were the first team to use it, and then a few years later I ended up at the Gold Coast Suns, and we used it as one of our training monitoring tools. In cricket, there's a couple of metrics that are important to us. I think high-speed running we use a lot in both our training and match analysis because of the relationship it has to soft tissue injury, and also bowling in cricket. The bowling algorithm is something we look at it to measure intensity of bowling, and it's been a way that we can change the way players look at their training by getting a measure of intensity. Previously in cricket, all balls were counted as equal, and through the use of GPS technology, we know that that's not true. I think the biggest area that we reduce injury rates is one by the introduction and giving dosage of high-speed running. The other area is just looking at what their load has been over the previous 28 to 35 days compared with what they've done over the last 7 days. So your acute to chronic ratio is an important metric that we look at across a number of parameters, from total distance to exposure to the different speed zones. Preparedness for competition in cricket is an interesting one because we have three different formats. So we've got a multi-day cricket which goes over 4 to 5 days, and athletes can cover up to 60 kilometres over those 4 days if they're a fast bowler, down to T20 cricket, which is sort of finished in 3 hours, and players cover about 6 kilometres. The measure that's probably variable between them is the exposure to intensity of high-speed running. In looking at what particular format they're going to go into, you need to ensure that, number one, they've got some volume if they're going into longer formats, but if they're going into a shorter format version of cricket, that they've had some exposure to high-speed running. Return from injuries are an area where GPS technology has been a huge advantage to us. Having a good understanding of the match demands in terms of the distance parameters that players cover in terms of meterage, and their exposure to the different high-speed bands. We want to make sure that the players have had exposure to the demands that are going to be met in each of those individual formats. We chose Catapult because they're an established company. The other reason that we chose them is really the customer service. We, in cricket, didn't have a lot of sports scientists that had expertise in just GPS technology. So we had to upskill our staff, and after looking at the market, we thought that Catapult was the company that was going to be able to provide us with the best service in upskilling our staff. What don't I like about Catapult? There's nothing really that I don't like. I think one of the challenges when you partner with a technology company is being able to continually evolve and have honest and open discussions about, as a sport, where you want to go and the service that you need to be delivered. At this point in time, we've had a partnership with Catapult for 6 years, and I haven't seen any reasons for us to change that at this point in time. Technology helps me in my job by being able to look at a lot of people. I've got athletes that live in a whole lot of different states, travelling all over the world, and by being able to get your data into a centralised database, you're able to get an understanding of the loads and the stresses that are placed on your athletes. The reason we went to GPS was to get an understanding of how far players run, how far they walk, how far they sprint in the different formats. Interestingly, what we ended up getting the most benefit out of was getting an understanding of the intensity of bowling through our bowling algorithm, and that's been really useful with educating our coaches to understand that each ball that a bowler bowls is different. Technology that we use will be our athletic management system, which records all their wellness and activity, and Catapult feeds into that. We also use a little bit of technology in our 3D analysis of bowling up at the National Cricket Centre, which is important for our bowlers. They go through that once a year. And we use little bits and pieces from some of our performance testing. So we use force platforms for strength measurement and the like.